Driving. It's something that most of us do on a regular basis. But with driving, there also comes the possibility of getting into accidents. Now, accidents are horrible experiences, and in order to bring clarity to what actually happened, sometimes our bodies go through a lot of stress and anxiety through that process. Though it is a difficult experience, we are able to learn valuable lessons and gain life experience through it. Our bodies slowly learn to handle this stress and anxiety. We learn ways to problem solve, and most importantly, we hopefully learn ways to avoid situations like this in the future. Thankfully, it's not just car accidents or other horrible experiences that can teach us valuable lessons. If we have an open posture, every and any experience that we go through has the potential to teach and enrich who we are. Let's take a second and think about a recent experience we've had where we needed to do some problem solving. Think about maybe some of the anxiety that you may have felt, or the stress. Think about the clarity that needed to happen in order to understand what was going on. And ultimately, think about what you learned that you could apply to the future. In today's ordinary moment, I want to invite us to notice places that challenge the concepts, theories, and ideas that we have towards children and their interactions. So, picture this. There are 3 children playing in the playground. They each have their own bike, and they're riding around the playground in circles and circles. They're having fun, they're laughing, some of them are going faster, some of them are going slower. You make your way to the playground, and all of a sudden, you hear crying. And so, what do? You walk up, and you go and see what happens. As you physically step into the moment, you see that one child is crying, one child is angry, and one child is silently standing there. In many ways, this ordinary moment holds a lot of similarities to a car accident, in that things happen quite fast, and we aren't always clear of how the crash happened, what the real issues were, what caused the crash. So in this incident, with these 3 children on the bikes, it's exactly the same, where something has happened, and we're not really clear how it happened, why it happened, but we see the aftermath, where there's a child crying, child upset, child silent, and all the fun, the laughter, the bike riding that was going on has halted, and we're stuck in this moment. What would your initial feelings and reactions be towards an incident such as this? How would you go about to engage with the children to solve this problem? Before I became an educator, when I would come across incidents like this, at times I would say to myself, you know what, I am just going to walk away because I don't want to deal with it, and I'll let someone else deal with it. But now, as an educator, I've come to understand that moments like this are really rich with opportunities to better understand the children and who they are. Now let's come back to this moment with the 3 children, one crying, one being angry, one silent. And let me share with you how I decided to engage with them. Seeing these 3, I decided to go right in the middle of them. I decided to look at each of them and to show them with my face and with my body that I could see that they were hurting. Yes, one was angry, one was crying, one was silent, and they may not seem hurt, but they were indeed hurting in their own way, because they were playing, they were having fun, and something happened, and now they're stuck in this moment, and they're not able to play anymore. I began to ask them what was going on. I started asking Each of them, the one that was silent, the one that was angry, the one that was crying. And each time that I would talk to either one of them, the other two would try to chime in and almost correct what the other person was saying. In a way, they were trying to make their case, make themselves seem like they had the right of way. Now, as the adult, in this moment, my role is to remind them that I'm here to help them. I'm here to listen impartially. I'm here to better understand what was happening so that they could resume their bike riding. Ultimately, after everybody had their say, everybody was able to share without being interrupted, I was able to understand what had happened. The child that was silent decided to get off their bike and become a traffic light, wanting to tell the other two when to go and when to stop. The one angry wanted to ride their bike faster and faster, ignoring this seemingly very apparent traffic light. Now the child that was crying saw the traffic light and thought, oh, it's a traffic light, so I should stop. So they went around the playground, they rode, and all of a sudden the traffic light said stop, and so they stopped. Now, I wonder if you can guess what happened next. These two children are kind of playing together and they're following each other's rules. But the one that was angry was still going. And so they rode their bike, and they bumped into the child that was stopping for the traffic light. This inevitably made the child cry because they were thinking, why did you hit me? I was stopping for a traffic light. The thing is, each child had their own way of wanting to play, but they didn't communicate with one another their ideas. Instead, they had the idea and they just thought, I'm just going to do it and it's going to work out well. But we know that life is not like that. You need to communicate. You need to share and dialogue with one another in order to have a smooth transition. And so, I took the time to explain what I've learned to these children. I shared with them that they each had their own ideas, that they wanted to play, they wanted to keep riding their bikes, but then they were following different rules. And then things didn't come cohesively, and this is where we came into the moment where someone was angry, someone was crying, and someone just wasn't having it. After explaining this to the group of them, I went a little more intentionally to each child and wanted to get them to understand that I saw what they were going through, I saw how they wanted to play, but at the same time, I wanted them to think a little deeper of how they could change their approach in the future. For the child who was the traffic light, they were able to think of a solution where in the future, they would verbally tell the group, I want to be a traffic light, who wants to play with me? Then, that would give the opportunity for the child who was crying to say, me, I want to play. That would also tell the child who was angry that, okay, these two are going to play this way, and if I'm not going to follow them, then I should be mindful of this. This also gives the opportunity for the child who was angry to say, not me, I don't want to play that, I'm going to play another way. This then opens more space for dialogue, where the three of them can understand how they are each playing, understanding how they can engage with one another in the same playground, with the same materials, but differently, and most importantly, pro-socially. This then opens a space for them to come together, to play with one another, to engage with one another as they watch, think, be.